Resident Evil Revelations 2 came out in 2015. Now it's starting to show its age. I believe it uses the Resident Evil 6 engine, which can be a bit jank at times, but there's some good points and there's some bad points. And don't even get me started on what they did to Claire's face. I have no idea what they did to my girl. Other than destroying Claire's face, I have no idea why she looks so, well, special, should we say. Other than that, there's Moira, who is Barry Burton. Barry the God Burton, who I really want to see a DLC with, you know, I really want to see Barry go out on one last divorced dad mission. That'd be so sick. I've always been a big fan of Barry Burton, you know what I mean? There's something, and he is obviously in this game. You've got Moira, Claire, Moira being his bratty, annoying daughter, who kind of makes you feel like this. Now, it was meant to be a trilogy originally. I don't know what happened with that, and I'm too lazy to research it because I've already done enough for this video as it is, isn't it? And it's tiring me out because I'm extremely lazy. But I'm not sure what happened. I guess they changed engines and it was just time to move on. The story is you're essentially, Claire's working for this sort of terror save, which is has a very funny cheesy intro of you know, kind of reminds me of the Starship Troopers kind of cheese. And she's working for this thing that's supposed to stop biological weapons. They get kidnapped, they get woke up, thrown in jail, and it's up to you and Moira, Barry's daughter, who swears like a absolute trooper, sailor, whatever you want to call it. It's very annoying at the beginning, but she does grow on you as time goes on. Now, you will have to look past wanting to slap your computer screen for a little while, but apart from that, Moira will grow on you eventually, and she does grow a pair of bollocks, not in the literal sense, but the more metaphysical sense. Claire's combat and with Moira, so the basic abilities are Moira refuses to use firearms, which I won't go into just in case you haven't played it and you want to go back and play some classics. Moira won't use firearms, so she has all the power of the crowbar. Now, the crowbar is actually very useful because, well, you wouldn't be able to progress through the game without it, and also it can, she has a torch. I don't know why there's only one torch, but, you know, whatever. She can point it and blind enemies. She can also make certain enemies pop. There's a few things she can do with that torch. She can also spot items. So Moira does come in very useful. Claire does the majority of the combat. And there's also a skill system in which you collect kind of cash for jewels, you know, hidden little trophies and knickknacks. And it comes in handy. And you can do some damage with the crowbar once it's upgraded. But I wouldn't advise trying to take on a boss with it. Although there is an achievement for that, but I wouldn't advise it. As far as puzzles go as well, it's not exactly brain busting. There are a few annoying ones later on in the chapters because it's not a long game, but it's got good playability. Because currently I replayed it with all the weapons that I kept from my last playthrough. I hadn't played it since, like, I don't know, 2017, a long time ago, and I had all my weapons, which I completely forgot. So when I started with you know, pretty decent guns, so I was kind of flying through it on normal difficulty. But yeah, that's as far as Moira and Claire are concerned. Claire's more survival horror, then you switch to Barry. So now we'll talk about Barry and Natalia. Natalia randomly just turns up. Barry turns up on his own to rescue his daughter with no backup. I'm not sure how they approved this mission of a one-man army, but God love him, you gotta love Barry. He's one of my favourites. Meets Natalia, and her power is pointing. You heard that right. Pointing. She points at things and, well, she points at things and makes them go sparkle so Barry can see them. I'm not sure whether his eyesight's going because of his old age or what, but yeah, she has the power of pointing. Barry also has a much better arsenal as well, so you'll find much better weapons, stronger weapons. But I don't know what it is. It's a bit like with the Resident Evil 6. We don't talk about Resident Evil 6 in the community. That doesn't exist. It isn't a game. But the games, some of the pistols can sound like pop guns. You know, like they don't have much impact. The shotguns, yeah. The assault rifles, yeah. The Magnum, yeah. But the pistols kind of just go pop, 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 and it doesn't feel like there's that much impact. But his partner is Moira, and between them you can switch by pressing, I think it's triangle or Y on PlayStation. I'm playing on PC obviously, so I'm using a messed up controller that has well, it's a knockoff Xbox controller basically. I think it's a Turtle Beach. But you switch between partners, and there are the really annoying enemies with Barry. There are invisible enemies. The one enemy everybody loves to fight, invisible enemies. They drive me fucking nuts. Barry is obviously there to rescue Moira. He, in the very first episode, no spoilers, he gets a distress signal, and for some reason it takes a long time. Again, not going to go into spoilers, but he gets there on his own with no backup, meets Natalia, doesn't want to leave her alone obviously, and she becomes a crucial part because she can point out the invisible enemies, and you have to switch between Natalia, point to the invisible enemy, shoot the enemy because they have certain weak points. So those enemies really annoy me. Any game with invisible enemies just makes me want to put my head through the monitor. But apart from that, the gameplay is pretty solid. The story's nothing to write home about. It's got good replay value. I can't speak much about the raid mode. Now, instead of mercenaries, it has raid. So you level up, you get new costumes, new weapons, new upgrades. There's a lot of weapons actually, and it is fun for a while, but I'm not even a fan of mercenaries. So as far as raid goes, oh, there's the pointing skill. It just doesn't scratch that itch for me. I just don't like killing just waves of enemies. It gets kind of boring real quick. I'm more of a story kind of guy. So my final conclusion would be, it holds up. It holds up for a game that came out in 2015. I'll keep the review short and sweet, and I'm not going to go into full in-depth detail like I've said before, because people just don't have the attention spans anymore. But it is worth playing. It's definitely worth playing, in my opinion anyway. The first Revelations, which came out on the Nintendo 3DS, although I've got it, I can't be asked to review it, because it's a lot of scanning things and switching between really annoying characters. Although we don't, Jessica's one of the good characters, and you'll know why when you see her in her bathing suit. Not bathing suit, her bloody hell, diving suit. For some reason she's got one leg showing, which makes the diving suit completely pointless, but you know, whatever. But yeah, Revelations 2, definitely worth going back, and since they had a big sale on recently on all the Resident Evil games, you can probably pick this up for a couple of quid. I mean, I've had it in my library for a long time. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you again soon. See ya!